Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Hope Shot Live. You are live with Nate and Caesar. Justin will not be joining us because he is going on a well-deserved vacation. Say what's up, Nate.
Hello, everybody. Good to be back. Missed everybody. Excited about seeing everybody on here tonight.
Heck yeah. If you're just tuning in, please don't forget to check in the comments. Say what's up if you got something that you want to talk about. Throw your topics, questions about recovery. If you're struggling with anything, throw that in the comments and we'll be happy to talk about it. And if you could, please don't forget to share this. You don't know who this message may reach or who needs to hear this today, especially because we don't know what we're going to talk about yet. Oh, look, we got Dustin in here already. Always in first. What's up, Dustin? How you doing tonight? Yes, we always have a blessed week. Hope you have one too. So, just so we get some background, Justin's on the road to where? North Carolina? Is that where he's heading?
No, Tennessee, I think.
Tennessee? Yeah, he's going up to the mountains, him and his family, getting some much-deserved time away, unplugging for a little bit of self-care. And we got Nate, the world traveler, back with us via New York, then California, and back to the NPR. Let's see, we got Phil in here. Yeah, see, that's what I thought. Phil says shared. Yeah, North Carolina, I think so too.
Maybe. I forget.
Let's see, we got Josh. What's up, Josh? Thank you for sharing.
Hey, Caesar, hit that clarity statement real quick.
Oh, I got to do that too?
Yeah, I got it.
Man, I'm just like the Wizard of Oz over here.
Yeah, it could happen.
You're breaking up a little bit. You're a little crackly.
I am?
A little bit.
All right.
The Hope Shot clarity statement. We here at the Hope Shot are a group of people in recovery spreading inspiration. We come from all different walks of life and pathways of recovery. Our verbiage at times, but we all have one thing in common. Recovery is a lifestyle. We support all pathways of recovery. It doesn't matter how you get from A to Z, just get there. And thank you for being a part of our Hope Shot family. All right, let's see who else we got in here. Dustin. Good to see you, Nate. Not quite the same without you on here. Absolutely. When Nate Stradamus is missing, it leaves a void. Yep. Phil says you're crackly a little too. So hopefully it'll clear up. Christy. What's up, Christy? And once again, Phil. Love this organization. God bless you all. Well, we love yours, Phil, and we love your message. So thank you for always tuning in and shouting us out. So, what do you want to talk about, Nate?
Well, now I'm insecure that I'm not being received well.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll be super awkward and be honest
with
myself. Yeah, you're crackly. You sound a little Rice Krispie.
Huh. Let me see. Yeah, let me I wonder if I just went on my regular service, not Wi-Fi.
I don't know.
Hold on. Let me try that real quick.
All right.
One sec.
Well, while Nate is MIA, what's up, Christy? First time? Hey, we're glad you're here too. So Nate's been traveling for part of his work, and one of the things he wanted to talk about, let me see if I can back this off a little bit, is staying connected when you're out of your normal routine. And I won't steal his thunder, but some of the things that I do on a daily basis, I feel like it's important that we do them when we're outside of our normal element. I was just giving a little background about what you were going to talk about, Nate.
Yeah. Am I still crackly?
You're crackly. But I can hear you. So a little bit of crackle is not the worst thing in the world.
Okay, so I'm not freezing though.
You're not freezing. I don't know any other way to put it. It's just crackly.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna try my best because I don't want to leave you in
Yeah, that would suck.
by yourself, you know. Yeah, so I just was I was on a job for 3 weeks out of state, and yeah, what I just wanted to talk about is like when you can't get to your meetings, when you can't connect to your fellowship, you know, just when you're out of your routine, how do you manage? How do you stay the path, you know? And I definitely had a lot of experience with that this last 3 weeks, and what I discovered is that there are very common practices that I instill in my daily life that allow me the ability to constantly stay connected regardless of where I'm at. It doesn't matter if I am not in town, it doesn't matter where I'm at or what I'm going through. If I do these very simple things, I am able to maintain some semblance of grace and dignity. And it all has to do with, you know, just my daily habits. You know, I wake up every morning, I pray, I do some meditations, I read some literature, I immediately reach out to people in my circle. I send gratitude lists out, I send inventories out at night, and even when I was out of town this time, I was able to connect to some meetings. And but even if you can't hit the meetings, these very simple practices, it really kept me afloat. You know, when you know, I was, you know, lacking connection. You know, connection with my usual people. You know, and not being able to be of service in a way like I'm usually. You know, when I'm in my community and helping others. So it's like, what I've discovered is like I've built a life with these disciplines that I adhere to on a daily basis, that I can really go out into the world and live a full life and not have to worry about losing my shit or wanting to drink or, you know, getting out of character. I went through some really difficult times when I was away. I had some relationship issues, and I think at one point I'm like, Caesar, I'm sorry, I'm calling you again. You know, I burned
Never
that.
be sorry.
Yeah, I burned that phone up. You know, I called my people. I got vulnerable. I looked at myself. I made some really hard decisions when I was gone this time, and through that all, you know, what I was able to really discover is that as long as I stay connected to my source and to others, there is nothing that life can throw at me that I can't walk through. And that goes for anybody, man. I truly believe that I didn't get sober to sit in meetings every day. I think meetings are a great tool. But I got sober so I could go out into the world and live my life and experience stuff, man, and to have the tools from step work, from connection with my source and my fellows, and through service, that I can. I don't have to hit a meeting every single day when I'm gone. You know, I don't have to. You know, I have these tools. I have this connection that allows me the freedom to live a life that I never even conceived of living, and to do some things that I did in these last 3 weeks that it was so surreal where I was at, who I was working with, and some of the things I got to see, and ultimately the end result, which was a successful job. So super grateful coming back home, very exhausted. I caught a red eye last night from LA, and I'm working on about 30 minutes sleep. But guess what? Here I am, because that's what we do, and that's exactly what I did when I was gone. I didn't miss a beat. I didn't stop praying. I had my meditation books with me. I didn't stop calling people. I didn't stop writing inventories. I didn't stop sending gratitude lists. I didn't stop reaching out. And because of that connection, I was able to walk through a seriously vulnerable situation, away from everything that I'm used to. So, yeah, that's just a subject I got. That's my experience with it, this last 3 weeks. If anybody, Caesar, you want to chime in on this?
Oh, I got a few things. I want to shout some people out here real quick, though.
Okay.
So Dustin says, to have that feeling that no matter where I go or how long I have to be gone, that I never have to be alone is a beautiful thing. Recovery gave me that. And that's beautifully put, Dustin. That's exactly what it is. It doesn't matter where I am or what I'm doing. I still keep that connection. I keep that connection with my higher power, and I'm connected to my community. We live in a digital age, like it's as simple as picking up the phone. I could see somebody face to face picking up the phone if I need to have a face to face conversation. We're blessed that we can reach out that easily. Phil, against all odds, says devotionals, prayers, staying connected with my community. Absolutely. We don't break the routine just because we're out of town. That's the things that I have to do on a daily basis, thing Nate's have to do on a daily basis. They don't get put on a shelf just because we're going out of town for something. We get to live this life, but there's some things that we have to do. Excuse me. Let me see, where is it? Hey, what's up, Stephanie? She said, I loved going home to California and going to different meetings. I connected with so many cool people. But if I couldn't get to one, I have everything I have worked my ass off for the past 5 years here for me. My people, my sponsor, my higher power, my meditation, and so much more now that I live this way of life. Life is good, even with the potholes and walls I walk in. Super grateful for where I am. Thanks for your share. That's awesome. Yeah, we're going to walk into some walls for sure and trip over some potholes, but they're not as big a deal these days. We got tools to deal with it, right? And then I want to go back.
Yeah.
And I want you to chime
walls
in on
built by.
Yeah, they're usually self-imposed walls too. Like I built them, I drywalled them, I insulated them, then I walked into them and went, "How'd that wall get there?"
Yeah.
But check this one out, Nate.
Where'd that come from?
Hey, Chandra. She says, good evening, Caesar and Nate. I've relocated to the Tampa area. Again, as a spouse of someone in recovery, I would love to visit conversations for those spouses. Hope that makes sense. And absolutely that makes sense. So
yeah,
my first thing to do is always put a resource out there. There's Al-Anon, there's Nar-Anon, there's all kinds of groups that are geared towards the spouse and the family of the addicted or the alcoholic. Now, all that being said, in my experience, it's very much a give and take. So the person that's trying to find that is in recovery has to give and take with the spouse that is already well. Typically, in my experience, the person that's in recovery is walking back into a household where the wife or the husband, whoever the other person is, has been holding things down and running things, and I'll give it from the perspective of the man. I would get locked up, go to rehab, and before all these things, I was a provider and I earned good money. But then I'd walk back in after being gone for almost 2 years and just want to take my place back. That is not the right way to go about it. I have to come in and give respect to the fact that life went on without me there. Things were held down without me there, and they were done well. And it's a blessing that I'm even being allowed back into this house. So I have to come in with humility and kindness and respect and kind of tiptoe a little bit. But on the other end of that, the other side, the person that's been holding it down can't be so resentful and expect so much out of a person that's in early recovery, because you want the time back, the time with the kids back. You want the job and the finances made right. So there has to be this balance between the two, and an understanding that the recovery has to come first. We're not going to put up with the bullshit, but we know that the recovery has to come first. And on the other end is, I understand that I owe you, but I can only get to that point if I do these things that I have to do. Because there was a statement made to me one time when I was back in the house, and it was, how is this any different? You're at meetings and you're doing this and you're doing that. You're never home. I had to have a solid foundation in recovery before I was any good to anybody. So again, there's a give and take. Set your boundaries. Try to be a team. Try to help the other person out, and vice versa. I can't just go hide out in meetings all day long and ignore my family obligations. I got sober to be a productive, good person, to be a better father, to be a good husband, to be a brother, a friend, all of those things. So the things and the principles that I'm learning are to be applied in the home first. I mean, and that's just my take on it. I've never been to an Al-Anon meeting. I've never been to a Nar-Anon meeting. I know people who do go and they get a ton out of it. So I definitely would say get the resources and don't just take my word for it. But there are chapters in the literature of the fellowships that we're in that specifically talk about how to handle the person that's coming back in and into the household. And it's all got good stuff in him. So I hope that helps. What about you, Nate?
Actually, the only thing I can say about that is like, I have a couple women that are involved in Nar-Anon and Al-Anon, and if she wants me to connect them with her, or if she wants to connect with them, they could give you invaluable resources on how to navigate your situation.
Absolutely. And I think my wife's in the other room. I'll get our Hope Shot email put into the chat. I'm not as tech savvy as Justin, so I can't type anything at all and run the show and do comments. So that's just not going to happen. But Kelly will put something in the chat. You can either email us or on Facebook. You can go through Facebook Messenger, and we will get back to you. Oh, say that again. Well, she's on YouTube, so I'm not 100% if that's a thing. So, we got everybody shooting up Star Party. Sure, have a Star Party. That'd be awesome. We appreciate anything that we can get. It just goes back to helping the community. So all of your support is so important to us. I can't even tell you what it means. So let's see. I don't know how to start the Star Party, so my wife or somebody would have to tell me how to do that. I'm going to read some comments here. First time tuning in from BC, Canada. Thank you for sharing your story. Chelsea, thank you for joining in. We appreciate you. We appreciate the support. Here we go. Michael, definitely recovery first. Got to love yourself before you can love others. And we absolutely... Chandra, I love that you come in here and you ask these questions and you're trying to be supportive. It's important. I was taught in recovery that it's not my job to make somebody else understand, but if you have to live with that person every day, it might be helpful to understand. So, bravo. Let's see, Christy. Going to family, first time in 20 years. Been sober today, most importantly, but a short time in general. Family sees a bit of difference and invited me. Sis is coming to get me. I've got fear. I sabotage everything that is good. You want to tackle that one?
Sure.
Self-sabotage. I'll put it back up.
Yeah, I got it. I don't need it. I got it. When one of the biggest misconceptions when I get into recovery is that I am not of service early on. I see people that have all this time, they've completed the steps, they're working with a sponsor, And I think like I have to get to this magical destination in order to truly be of service, like the program is asking of me. What I fail to understand is that as soon as I stop using whatever it might be, I immediately become an instrument of service. First of all, I am showing up in my community in a way that I haven't. I am also my family is less worried. I am probably going to work now. I'm probably taking a shower. I'm probably, paying taxes. And all of these things that I haven't done in so long, and I am of service. I am useful. I am a part of society. I am a part of community in a way that I couldn't even dream of prior to using. So obviously your family sees this, that you're doing something different. I believe all self-sabotage is just basically, I feel like that I have self-worth issues, right? I think I'm not good enough. So I will put myself in a situation to prove that subconsciously. It manifests in all my situations when I do not see myself as a good person, or worthy of love or worthy of family. And this is something that I struggled with very heavily early on in recovery. And I can still struggle with it today. Self-sabotaging, not so much sabotaging, but like thinking that I'm a fraud and believing and tricking myself into believing that I am not worthy of blessings or gifts or promotions or opportunities like the one I just had. And even in the midst of my job these last 3 weeks, I had to constantly question myself. And
Well, did you freeze up on me, or did you stop talking?
no, I think I froze up, but you went blank. Can you still hear me?
I can hear you now. You're getting a little
Yeah.
Mr. Roboto, but not totally.
Oh, geez.
You're all right. You're all right. You're coming through clear now.
All right. Anyway, yeah. So I think that fear and the is perfectly natural. I still have it a few years into this deal. It's not, you're not doing anything wrong because you're afraid, but it's what you do with that fear that truly matters. Don't let it. For me, I had to face some very uncomfortable situations, from with family and others that I just, did dirty for 2+ decades, and I had to do a lot of work on myself and go through this process, whatever your recovery looks like. And once I did that, I was able to hold my head high and face these very uncomfortable situations where I felt completely vulnerable and exposed. And what happened is I discover that a lot of these fears and a lot of these concerns and worries are usually, in my head. They're very exaggerated. They've been compounded from years of insecurity and guilt and shame and regret. And at the end of the day, our families just want to see us well. So show up well and be yourself. And I think that you'll be just fine.
Dude, great advice. I mean, so I had this really great sponsor, and when I was going through the amends process, there was the actual amends, with my parents. But when I went back and I talked to my sponsor, and he's like, yeah, that's great. He wasn't a hard ass. He was really kind, but he was thorough. He's like, you made the amends. He goes, but the biggest thing you stole from your parents was time and peace of mind. He goes, now you need to give them your time and let them see you, and that will give them the peace of mind. So be there, just like Nate said, show up. That's the best thing you can do. And over time, they'll
Yeah.
expect to see you. It won't be such a shock that you're coming to something. It'll just be, of course you're invited. You know, of course we want to see you. It's an amazing transformation if you stick around for this. So let me read some of these
Yeah.
things. Hey, what's up, Teresa? Thank you for tuning in. Becky. Yes, we are missing some people, Becky. We got Justin on the road. Justin and Tiffany are heading to, we're just going to say North Carolina because we can't really agree on. Yeah, okay. Kelly has spoken. It is North Carolina. He's on the road to North Carolina. Let's see. We almost got the star party. We are two technical dinosaurs that are on here, so we don't even know what that is. Without Justin, I'm surprised that we're actually live.
And I'm barely live, so.
And then thank you, Brandy. info@thehopeshot.org. That's for you, Chandra. If you want to shoot us an email, send it to that email and we will connect you with resources. Anything that you need that we've got, we will share with you. Stephanie, great advice. I don't know which person you're talking to, but thank you. Hey, what's up, Jamie? And Christy, I think you guys needed that. That's what we're here for. You know, this is we're resource brokers. We've put in some time and effort into connecting with all these things, and it's our privilege and it's an honor to be able to share them with you and connect you to the relationships that we've made. Anything to be able to help somebody else it's a blessing to be able to do this. Oh, here's one. Chelsea. What's up, Chelsea? She says, I've never been to a meeting. I had it in my head that if I went, I would be admitting I had a problem, and my ego didn't want to let that happen. I spoke to a counselor who made me think differently. She said, for everything I've been through in life, maybe I don't have to go to admit my faults, but maybe go to listen to stories, learn something from others, or share my story and be the light that helps someone else through the darkness. I have yet to go, but I would figured I'd sit in on some stories. Well, I think that's a good step in the right direction. That's how the message was delivered to me. I was sitting in a rehab, and this guy came in with a tie on, with glasses, kind of looked like a dork, pulled up in a car, but he had this peace about him. Then he proceeded to tell this story of destruction. And I couldn't imagine that guy that was sitting in front of me being the guy that he was talking about, but I completely identified with the hell and the mental turmoil that he had been through. He didn't spend a lot of time locked up like Nate and I did, but that's not what I connected with. I connected with the mental torture, the guilt, the shame. And the guy was sitting there in front of me, and he just had this lightness about him. And he didn't look anything like me or like the way that I felt. Like I carried this burden around, and I wasn't really ever happy, and I didn't have a lightness to me. But hearing him, there was a guy that came in the night before, and he was more like me and Nate. He was covered in tattoos and cussed, and I was like, that's my guy. But my higher power was kind enough to put the right person in my path. And when I heard this guy, I was like, I got to know how somebody that's lived like I lived has gotten to the point of where they're like that, because that's foreign to me. You know, I'm sitting in that rehab. He's walking out the door, getting in his car, probably going to a house, which I found out later. Yes, he had a house and a job and all these things. And it piqued my interest. I'm like, you know, how do I get some of that? How do I get to that point? And he showed me. He gave me the instructions, and I followed the instructions. So you might go to one of these meetings and somebody tells your story. Basically, you hear exactly what you need to hear, and that's the catalyst for change. You hear that and you go, wow, I want to know how that person did it. I'm just like that person, except they're not suffering. So I encourage you to go, and I wish you well.
Yeah, can I say something about that, Steve?
You can say whatever you want, bro. You can cut me off. I don't care.
Never that. So anybody that I talk to that is struggling with um that idea of like, do I belong here? Should I go? You know, what will it help? Won't it? Um, I believe that, well, first of all, um, you know, even though I got, you know, sober through 12-step fellowship, that's not the end all be all. There's many other groups. There's many other recovery arenas. There's refuge. There's smart recovery. There's clean recovery. There's all different types. So just putting that out there. Anyway, regardless of what recovery arena anyone subscribes to, there's a common theme, and it's this: you go there, there is a group of people all collectively trying to improve their lives. In that energy, in that fellowship, in that connection, there is a serious infectious power that anybody can tap into, regardless of what their problems are, regardless if they spent 20 years in prison or just drank alcohol or smoked crack or whatever they did. It doesn't matter. You could have somebody that's never done drugs go into these fellowships and drastically improve their life if they follow the steps in the whatever processes this group has, because it's not really about what recovery arena it is. It's all about the connections that you make inside the fellowship, because you get into these, because I mean, anybody that's struggling with the idea, if they need to go to one of these, has a problem connecting. Obviously, they're probably like me. They isolate, they're introverted, and they're dying to be a part of something because they feel like, this is me, I felt utterly alone and desperate all the time, and I never felt a part of, even when I was around people. So we don't go into the meetings to for me, if I go into a meeting looking for differences, I will find all the differences I can possibly, you know, see, right? But if I go into a meeting, any situation in life, not just a meeting, I go in there and look for common bonds, you know, which is the human condition and the struggle therein. You know, that's what I'm going to tap into, that other people are struggling and they're not doing it alone. And you don't have to do it alone. And here is how you don't have to do this, because I was just like you and now I'm not, you know? That's the whole idea. And like Caesar said, we I know that I've heard my story 100 times over, and it not necessarily the same exact experiences. It has nothing to do with the external experience and everything to do with how we feel inside. I don't care if someone's been getting loaded for 2 years and got sober in their teens, you know, if they felt that same desperation I felt, we have something in common. We can help each other. And that's what the whole idea of this recovery is. It's to find that common struggle that all human beings have, not just in recovery, and relate to it and figure out how to work through it collectively.
Beautiful. So I do want to try to do a good job for Justin here. So if you guys are watching and you haven't yet, please share our feed. You never know who this could help. I even put the little thingy at the bottom of the screen. So proud of myself right now. And also, next Sunday, we are having the gratitude meeting like we did last year. It's going to be on Zoom. And I know Justin has already posted, and we'll keep posting. But everybody can come in before the meeting and, you know, sit on the backstage, and as many people as we can get on, you can share a little bit of what you're grateful for. And we're just going to have a whole gratitude meeting on Sunday. So please don't forget to come and join us for that one. It's going to be awesome. It was awesome last year.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool experience.
So let me see if I lost my spot here. Oh, I way lost my spot. Oh, here it is. I wanted to put Becky's comment up. I live in Indiana and I'm in Texas with my daughter and grandchildren. It's nice to do it without heroin. Yeah, that Becky, that hit home for me because I was basically geographically trapped on how far I could travel by how much drugs I could take with me. And I was always afraid to leave too far away from anywhere because I knew I would get sick if I ran out. So I could never enjoy anything. I could never enjoy experiences. I could never go very far away. And I don't know, that comment just hit home for me. It's like it's just so beautiful to watch Nate and travel all around because I know he suffered the same way I did. It's beautiful that I get to pack my family into a car and go to North Carolina, or we're going to Michigan coming up next month, and I don't have to worry about being away from my old source, not my higher power source. I don't have to worry about that today, and it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Let's see, we got Jamie. Y'all are lifesavers and hope dealers. Grateful for the hope shot. We're grateful for you. Thank you. Let's see. Oh, this is good. Stephanie says, I went to rehab hoping they would show me how to drink correctly because I was not an alcoholic. Well, shortly there, I realized just how much I was. And when I finally let go and admitted it to myself, admitted I was an alcoholic, my whole life began to change. I encourage you to go to meetings and talk to some women there. You can have my number if you want. That was sweet, Stephanie. Thank you for that. I don't know what I thought I was going to get out of my first meeting. It was court ordered and everyone seemed like an alien. I was young and they were old. I thought I was really smart and I thought they were dumb. And then by the time I was actually ready for this program, I was more worried that I was too far gone and that those people couldn't even help me. But they came and they did.
You know what kept me sick for so long? Vanity. I just thought that recovery wasn't cool. As if the way I living was so cool that I couldn't even conceive of, and there's a part in a certain fellowships literature that says live a spiritual life or die an alcoholic death. And it's funny when I read this now because it's such an easy decision, right? But this is this is a decision that I battled with, like connect to some type of source and live a beautiful life and or die, an alcoholic or an addictive death, and
you were like, I don't know.
It's bizarre, man.
Oh, I love the people in our comments. Michael says it's super hard to walk into those meetings, but the best thing I ever did was seek help and going to lots of meetings. Absolutely. I'll tell you what the funniest thing was. Like the biggest death sentence was when I had to get that paper signed. I was like, oh, I got to go to like 2 a week. Oh my God, I can't believe I've got to go to 2 meetings a week.
Yeah.
And then you fast forward like 5 years, and it's like the bright spot of my week is going to my meeting where I see all my people, like all my friends are there. Oh, let's see. Hey, what's up, Helen? By going to meetings, you will find your group of people that you will become close to. And that's true. That's where I found my people.
Yeah.
I don't want to push meetings. You can find recovery any way you want to, but I think no matter what path you take, it's imperative to connect to people, and it's a good place to build those bonds. See, Joanne says the room saved my life. They saved my life too. See what else we got. Oh, yeah. Dustin's just always dropping fire. And what's the downside? You sit in a meeting for an hour and get nothing out of it. That's the worst thing that can come from trying. Or you can hear something that really connects with you, can change your life forever. I was dragged to my first meeting reluctantly as hell by my mother, and it's the best thing that ever happened to me in my life. And I fucking love you, Dustin.
Thank you, Dustin's mom.
Yes, thank you, Dustin's mom. I had to stay. The Nope candlelight visual was was last week, and
How that
I
goes?
I didn't go. I had dad duty, and I let Kelly just
Okay.
go and shine and do her thing. But she spoke very highly of seeing Dustin in his new role with his group of people with him, with his badge around his neck. ID badge. He's not a cop. Just, I don't know, man. Just hearing stuff like that makes me smile. So, just so you know, Dustin, I'm super proud of you. You're awesome. See, Brandy says, yes, my first meeting was a total God shot. Awesome. James, open-minded, honest, and willing.
And then Caesar, like for me, my first meeting, I was in a, you know, $30,000-$40,000 30-day treatment resort in Bel Air in Clearwater, and I was 16 years old. I went to it. That was my first meeting, you know, and even though I didn't get really nothing out of it, it planted a seed that I knew there was always somewhere that if I wanted to get help, I could come to. And I came in and out for the next 23 years, 22 years before I got this, you know, and yeah, it's there's power. Where else in the world can you go somewhere like people pay you know, $250 an hour to go sit down with a psychiatrist that's just going to listen to them and write them a prescription. You can go to these things for free, and it's 100 people, it's 50 people, whatever. It's a group of
5 people. You never know.
Trying to improve their fucking life, man. And there is so much power in that, you know. And it's a magical deal if you give it a shot. But if I told myself that, you know, a few years ago, I thought they were all full of shit and very lame and uncool, you know. I thought I would be made fun of if I went into this thing, as if I probably wasn't being made fun of already for being a scumbag, you know?
Well, I'll tell you what's really funny is the fact that we even think we think we're so important that everybody's talking about us or thinking about us.
Right.
I'm like, oh man, if I read this reading wrong, I'm going to be shunned. Nobody gives a crap. No. Nobody gives a crap if you stumble over the words. Nobody cares if you don't know what the readings are. Nobody cares if you share wrong. Everybody's just there to help each other. And I had to get out of my head that I was that important, that everybody was thinking about me. So I want to read this one. And sir, I apologize if I butchered this name. I might not even try to read it. But he says he had 6 months sober, relapse, and sober again for 20 days. He says, shit sucks, man. I see both lives and I don't know what to do anymore. And in my experience, if you've seen both lives, you know exactly what to do. You know which one you want, and you got to work towards that.
Yeah.
I mean, it does suck. Relapse happens. I mean, we're not perfect. I would say don't be so hard on yourself. Get back up. You got 20 days again.
It's a miracle.
Go find somebody that's got 10 days and show them how you got double that.
Yeah.
You know, and you take your mind off yourself and start thinking about somebody else, and then you'll see the beauty of life. And that's just my experience. The less I think about myself and the more I think about others, the better my life gets. The more I start thinking about my problems, my schemes, and my plans, the more complicated my life gets.
Yeah. Also, I've met some people that, you know, got it right the first time, but the majority of people that I met and that I'm close with did not get it right the first time.
I didn't get it right the first time.
And what I've also seen is someone that has like a little bit of sobriety and then goes back out is offered and gifted a certain perspective, you know, that could not be had unless they did that. You know, I've seen people that, you know, I'm in a relationship with somebody that, you know, had 8-9 years, and when anniversary that's coming up, you know, it's, she tells me it's this sobriety is 100 times different than the last one because of the relapse. And she's grateful for that relapse, you know, because it's given her this different view and this different connection that she couldn't really have ever had unless she had that. So where you think that you're you know, that's you're in a bad place, you're actually in one of the most opportunistic positions to truly get this deal in a way that you probably couldn't have got it in your last sobriety.
I remember I got out of a rehab and I was really like counting time. I was big into getting the key tags and all that deal. And I found this little group and I was going and I wasn't all in, if I'm being honest. I was not all in. I wouldn't get a sponsor. So I started BSing and acting like I had a sponsor. I'm just being honest, you know, and that's what I did.
I'm laughing because I did it too. That's
yeah, awesome. You know, my fake sponsor had a name, and all I was striving for was the next milestone. I wasn't really doing anything about my recovery. It was just like, oh man, I got to get that 90-day chip, and now I got to get this, and I got to get that. And I was about to get a 9-month tag. I thought it was like such a big deal, and I got drunk, got hammered, and I went back to the meeting and I picked up the tag anyway. And I was so ashamed of myself. I never went back to that meeting afterwards. And my next experience was the time that it stuck. And the difference was I wasn't bullshitting anymore, and I wasn't cutting corners, and I asked for help and I took the direction. And I'm not saying that's your situation. I'm just talking about my situation. All the difference in the world was really being all in or just kind of like sitting on the sidelines and dipping my toe in a little bit. Once I jumped all the way in, this hasn't been hard. Like as far as staying away from a drink or a drug, that hasn't been hard. Don't let anyone fool you. Life's hard, but life's hard for everybody. We're blessed that we have a solution to live by. You know, it makes life a little more bearable for us. I want to go back to Becky because this is awesome. Says, I hadn't left Indiana in 50 years, so it's a blessing not to worry about being sick. Amen. That is a huge blessing. Enjoy your time. Let's see. Oh, Helen. Helen says we're doing a great job.
Yeah.
Thank you, Helen. Thank you, somebody, for saying we're doing a good job because we're fumbling through this sucker.
Yeah, winging it like our entire adult life.
Absolutely. Let's see. Here we go. Michael relapsed also after 230 days, sober again for 27 days. Don't give up, brother. Great advice. Yeah. Just get up, dust yourself off, and keep chipping away at it. And all of a sudden, those minutes and hours and days turn into years, and then you stop counting because life's just good. And then you're not really worried about the next milestone. Let's see. Oh, Dustin says the visual was fantastic, truly inspiring. I'm sad I couldn't be there, but I'm glad that it was good. We had Brandy Grimes. He spoke at that one too, Nate. Ex-Buccaneer football player. And he wrote a book, and he's a person in long-term recovery, and he's just a force to be reckoned with out there. And we're grateful that we got to know him and that he's speaking at events that we're a part of. See, we got Scott says 199 days off the jug today. Congratulations, Scott. Beautiful. That is awesome. Then Christy says, I get anxiety every time I go to a meeting. It's been a part of me not getting clean. I'm trying to remember, y'all are my people. After meeting, love the people and the stories, and have a great sense of peace. The mental obsession is truly the worst feeling right now.
Yeah.
I get anxiety
today.
I get anxiety about everything, kind of.
Yeah,
And I don't mean to blow it off like that, but I mean, like,
not alone. You know, like
no.
Christy, like the only difference between Caesar and I and anybody that has any type of sobriety, it's we still have the anxiety, we still have the imposter syndrome, we still have the self-worth issues, the same fears. Our minds don't magically rewire. We're still twisted, you know. The only difference is we've been afforded a solution, and we're able, through our connection to our source and to our fellows and in service, are we able to tap into that solution and make that crazy shorten a little bit. You know what I mean? Um, so yeah, that anxiety, it's perfectly normal. I experience it on a daily basis. It's just we have a solution today, and if you keep showing up and walking through that stuff, you too will. It'll get easier, and but it doesn't mean it's going to go away. You know, it doesn't go away.
The first time I spoke in a meeting, I knew like it was it was like a circle where everybody reads like one part, and like it was moving around and it was coming towards me, and I'm like, oh, okay, three more.
Yeah.
More, and it's gonna hit me, like just freaking out. I had huge sweat stains under my arm, and it got to me. And you don't have to read. You can just say, hey, my name's Caesar and I'll pass, you know, or my name's Caesar, I'm just listening. I think I said like the whole thing, like jumbled up, like my name's this and I'm a Caesar or something like that. Like I was so nervous and so in my head. And yeah, I mean, my experience is the more that I face my fears, the more times I do something like public speaking or any of that, the easier it becomes, the less fear I have of it, the less anxiety that I have of it. If it becomes an everyday practice, it gets easier. Dustin says, I know that feeling all too well. I'm 17 months in and my disease still calls at me that these people don't really care about me and wouldn't miss me if I left. It's an effing lie. Our disease will use any tool to keep us from getting better. Our anxiety, our depression, it doesn't matter. The way to beat that is to keep coming back no matter what and get just a little further out of your comfort zone each time. Damn it, man. He's dropping fire. I just posted something the other day. It's, you know, life is lived outside of the comfort zone. There's no growth in the comfort zone. And every day I have to face stuff that, I mean, let's be honest, we'd all rather just stay home and not face crap, but we don't get better that way. And I want to be better. You know, I want to be better. I want to be better for my family. I want to be better for myself. And I have to get my ass up and face this stuff on a daily basis.
Yeah, I was outside my comfort zone perpetually for the last 3 weeks.
For real. And killing it.
And yeah, and in the midst of it, I did question myself. Like, I mean, am I doing a good job? Am I a fraud? Like all these fears, all these anxieties, you know, and but I just kept showing up. And you know, it's funny how, you know, like just think, I shot heroin, smoked crack, and took Xanax for 20 plus years, right? Like spent 14 years in prison. Like, and one day I just was like, I'm done. I stopped. I put in some work and that obsession was lifted. Can you even like just conceive of how much of a miracle that is? if I am able to stop doing something that I did for so long, that was such a like presiding force over my life, like a complete obsession, right? And it's just lifted. Think of what else we're capable of. We can walk into a fucking meeting. We can talk to people that we're not comfortable with. We are capable of such amazing things, but we have these self-limiting beliefs, man. And we talk ourselves into feeling like that, you know, we only fit into this circle, or we only fit into this square. And it's such a lie, man. That is one of the greatest delusions that I sell myself, you know, that I cannot do something when I am a walking miracle and was able to break free of something that has killed millions of people and that should have killed me, you know. Yet I get afraid to go, you know, tell my story, or I get afraid to go face somebody in a confrontation because I feel disrespected. Like, these are like, I can get more in fear about like the most simplest of interactions because I'm just not used to facing these things, you know. But if I can have some perspective and truly like take a look at my progression and my evolution and what I've been through, you know, the things where I was at and where I am at now, you can't tell me that I'm not capable of accomplishing anything I put some work into. That's for sure.
Dude, I say it all the time. It's I shot heroin for 17 years. Before that, I was already I took every substance in the world from the time I was 12. I was drinking heavy. I got sent to a military school in 8th grade, and I was blackout drunk every day at that military school. So you take the majority of my life being numb and being one way, and then 8.5 years of recovery. Gotta give ourselves some grace, man. Like, we grew up 25 years worth of growing up in a very short amount of time. And I'm still gonna feel like a child sometimes. And that's okay, but that's the reality of it. You know, the people that never went the path that we went question themselves. Why shouldn't I question myself sometimes? I'm figuring out a lifetime of life skills in a very short amount of time, and I get confused and I get overwhelmed, and I don't feel like I'm who I should be or where I should be. But I also need to remember that that is normal.
Yeah.
That is normal. We are I can't believe where we are.
Yeah.
You know, I'm so far from where I started, and I can't fathom where I could go. You know what I mean? Like, the possibilities are endless.
And Caesar, like, and I've said it before, but I'll say it now because it's relevant. Those anxieties, those fears, those worries, those questions, you know, when you're experiencing these things and you think that you're doing something wrong and that you're not connected or that you're walking away from your source or whatever you believe in those fears, in those anxieties, in those moments of doubt, of lack of self-worth, self-esteem, whatever. And when you're questioning and you're asking and you're seeking, you're actually getting closer to your truth, not farther away from it.
I love it. We are almost out of time, but I want to put this one last. Helen says, shopping in Walmart gives me anxiety. I'd rather sit in a meeting for 3 hours than go to a Walmart. Listen, I'm with you. I had to go to Walmart today. I haven't been to a Walmart in a very, very, very long time because it gives me so much anxiety. But, you know, I did it today. But yes, I would rather sit in back-to-back meetings all day long than go to Walmart. But guess what? My kid needed a sleeping bag, and that's where they sold the sleeping bag. So I'm going to go face Walmart. You know, I mean, you got to do what you got to do. So I just want to say thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you for your support, for always coming in and dropping fire comments. We appreciate you. It'd be really no point in us doing this if it wasn't for you guys being on here. So we love you guys, and we can't wait to see you next week for the gratitude meeting. And please don't forget, put it on your calendars, and hope everybody has a good night.
Love y'all.
Thank you.